As of 1.7.2 Minecraft, with this newly arranged options menu, you can see there's a new button called Super Secret Settings. Now what this does, it cycles through a number of built-in shaders, 21 in total, and basically this video will aim to show you all of these shaders and a brief description in my kind of words. When there's no shader selected, the world will act normal, like it should do. And if you press F3 and you get to this kind of view here, underneath where it has WS, FSG, etc., it will be blank. But when you have a shader enabled, it will have the name of the shader you've enabled right there. And that's what I'll be using to sort of split this video up. So the first one, by clicking the button, is FXAA. Now this might not look any different from usual instantly, but what it stands for is fast approximate anti-aliasing, and this type of aliasing that makes edges look smoother and is also less intensive in compute than normal AA anti-aliasing. Works well with anisotropic filtering, and yeah, it's good for people who want the ultimate anti-aliasing feeling. Now the next one is called art. This makes everything look much more artistic, painted, and clearly it's blurred. And when you move, certain parts of the world sort of twinkle and flicker a little. This is basically for when you want to have a semi-drunk experience in Minecraft. The next one is bumpy. Now this one outlines sort of major colour changes, especially you can see on this tree. It makes it look a bit more sharp, so this obviously gives you a really bad headache. So if you want to give yourself a headache, and you go ahead, use the bumpy shader. The next one is called Blobs 2. This is similar to art, but it's like getting art shader and injecting it with heroin, because all the graphics are toned down a little, so it's less processor intensive than art. This is one to feel full on drunk, so not semi drunk like art. If you want to be full on drunk, use Blobs 2. The next one is Pencil, and basically this makes everything black and white clearly, and everything's sort of it's given a sketched feeling, so everything looks drawn out. This is based for people who are colourblind or have chromophobia. The next one is Colour Convolve, as clearly spelt incorrectly on the game files. And what this does is it intensifies the colours. It might look any different here, but when you're playing, you'll notice from normal shaders, or no shader even, to Colour Convolve, everything looks more vibrant. This is basically when you get tired of playing with yourself and you want to play with colours. The next one is called Deconverge, and quoting from the website, it offsets the red, blue and green colour channels. But I prefer to call it the hippie shader, because everything looks more funky and calming. This is basically for anyone who is a part of Greenpeace. Right, now this next one is called Flip. So as you can see, there's not much difference. The colours may seem a little bit tweaked. The quality is tiny bit reduced, nothing much. And, oh wait, the whole fucking game is flipped around. So when you move your mouse up, you actually look down, which is actually up, but actually down. And oh my god. This is based for people who want to reverse psychology on retardedness. Just on the actual abstract noun, retardedness. Next one is Invert. The name says it all. This is basically for hipsters who get bored of green and for some reason want a green, pink tree thing, a bob. Yeah. The next one is called NTSC, and what this does, it gives the game a feeling of being inside of like one of those odd CRT monitors, and one with a massive back on it that wouldn't give up. So yeah, that's basically what it does. It sort of puts like a border around it, and this is basically for people for some bizarre reason, even though they've bought a really expensive computer, might have a really good laptop, want to go back to the old quality monitors because they don't just miss it or some reason, some weird reason like that. So yeah, right, so this next one's similar to Bumpy, except it's like getting the Bumpy shader, punching it in the heebie-jeebie, and defecating on its face, and then flooding its house. So basically, this is for you, killer. This is for you! Right, so this next one's called Phosphor, and at first it looks quite normal, nothing wrong with the world, except when you start to move, everything goes bloody, I don't know what to call this, blurry, something like that, and it gives sort of feeling of white phosphorus being around you, you know, the chemical thing that kills loads of people, and it's very harmful, and yeah, inhumane. Anyway, this is for this guy right here, yeah, this is for you. This next one's called Scan Pincushion, as I quote from the name, and this is basically like the NTSC one, except it's less CPU intensive, not as kind of damaging to the quality. It's just a normal game with this kind of TV texture on top of your view, basically. Yeah. Basically, this is for nobody. If you use this, you have no life. So yeah. The next one is called Sobel, and what this is basically everything's black except for the outlines of major color changes, which are sort of turn into like funky colours. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, excuse me. It's kind of cool in a sense. Basically, this is for the dodos. We miss you guys. We love you. We wish you could have seen us. This is for you. The next one is called Bits, and basically this turns all the 16-bit textures into 8-bit. So basically, fuck, this is for 8-year-olds or people with like the crappiest laptops or computers ever. Like literally, if you're playing on a potato, please use this shader. This one's called Desaturate, and as you can clearly see, the colour intensity reduce. Gives quite a yield and drowsy feeling. And for another shout out, this is for Kiel Cavalli. We're gonna miss you. Can't believe you had to go so soon. Your man Gusta just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Right, so this one's called Green, and basically what it does is clearly it turns everything blue, but it gives an illusion of it seeming green. So it gives it kind of a Splinter Cellish kind of look. This is for you, Jamal. You're for you, man. So I kind of like got bored of writing a really crap script for this video. So here's a I just watch this. This is a thing, yeah. Right, so this one, it's called Wobble, and quote it from I don't know what. This is like injecting yourself with LSD and speed, and shoving a piece of chocolate up your ass, drizzling it in honey, setting it on fire, up your ass, setting it on fire, and feeding it to your dog, and then eating your dog. And this is basically for whoever the fuck wants to get photosensitive epilepsy, and also for disco divas. Right, so this one's called Blobs, and this is sort of like Blobs 1, so for some reason Blobs 1 comes after Blobs 2, but anyway, this is like a bit similar to Blobs 2, except it makes everything look more Borderlandsy, in a sense, like outlines of most things and stuff like that. So yeah, that is Blobs, and this is basically for nobody because I like eggs. This one's called Anti-Alias, and this, again, is some reason comes after FXAA, which is like the second after that. And what it is basically FXAA but less effective, and clearly makes the game a bit more blurry than it should be. This is for any sado who could actually be asked to click this far through the set for the shaders, unless you want to come back to the start. Besides that, you're kind of sad for getting this far in the shaders. And once you've got to the end, if you go to options and super secret settings, the shader thing disappears, so you've got no shader on right now. This is for people who are normal and don't use the shaders, unless you're cool and you want to use the wob one, because that is pretty sick, to be fair. Okay, thanks, bye. Lol, 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 lol. Boop, 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 boop.
And you know, it's just like